views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to OpenBxRx Remote, brought to you from my sunny living workspace, Chari Executive Suite. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we'll speak to Multi-Emmy Award-Winning host and executive producer of Bare Feet with Mickela Mallozzi to discuss season 5, highlighting the resiliency of New York's diverse arts community. Then we'll speak to child actor Summer Rose Castillo as she discusses her rise to stardom with her leading roles in both Almas Way and the coming-of-age short film, Brownsville Bred. After that, we'll be joined by Multi-Grammy Award-Winning singer-songwriter, humanitarian Jon Secada as he highlights and celebrates his 30-year trajectory in music and the importance of education. Later on in the show, Bobby C brings us an up-to-date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And lastly, this week's Open Artist Spotlight shines on seasoned singer-songwriter Bruce Sudano, followed by a performance at the end of the show. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way because now we are officially open. Welcome to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour, inviting you to get social with us online. That is, tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at OpenBxRx Television. And of course, while you're there, you can follow me on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, and LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. So our first guest is a professional dancer, trained musician, and 4-time Emmy Award-winning host and executive producer of Bare Feet with Mickela Mallozzi. You know I love saying that. A travel series that highlights the diversity of dance, which airs on public television stations nationwide and on Amazon Prime Video globally, from rediscovering her family's roots in southern Italy to dancing tango in Buenos Aires. The series covers Mickela's adventures as she experiences the world one dance at a time. However, this upcoming season 5 of Dance and Music, she highlighting cultures within the 5 boroughs of New York City, showcasing the resilience of New York City's diverse arts community. And here to share more with us, she is no stranger to the show. Please welcome Bare Feet with Mickela Mallozzi, host and executive producer, and my friend, Mickela Mallozzi. Hello.
Rhina Valentin! I love you so much. Thank you for the incredible intro always. I need to record this and just put it in for days when I need a little, boost. Yeah. I just love it. I love it. Oh, so good to be here.
We love having you. We love that you always come through and visit in your new adventures. I mean, you are the adventure queen. I love everything you do, and I love everything about you. So I can only imagine what this must have been, not only for you, but the people involved with this, this particular season, because it's all about home, baby.
It's home. It's home. And it was in such an amazing, incredible time in our history, for the city, for the world, for what we've been going through for the past 2 years. It really was this culmination of these energies kind of coming together all at once, but in the city that we love and in the city that was hit the hardest by COVID at the beginning.
So, here's the thing. We've had you on annually, right? Per season, we'll say. And the last few seasons, last year, which was pretty much was like an extra. It was like a special, right? That was out. And then prior to that, you did the DNA travel that took you around the world. And now you're back to New York, which is where it all originated from. Yeah. And so you just mentioned the historical value behind it. But what was different about this time around?
What was different was there was this sense of urgency to tell the stories of New Yorkers, of what was happening right at that time. We were filming the summer, right when vaccines had rolled out, when the world was opening up again. And there was this urgency of like, we need to capture this moment. We need to capture the magic that we've been seeing and feeling and anticipating of. We're going to be able to dance again together. We're going to be able to touch each other more safely than before. We're going to be able to be outside. We're going to be able to have dance parties. And people were so hungry for these dance parties that you felt it. It was palpable, even beyond the camera. Like even our crew, there were so many moments of tears of joy, so many firsts, Rhina, of like dance schools, dance groups, dance parties that hadn't seen each other maybe within a year and a half. And this was their first time being in person, dancing in person, not over Zoom, not virtually. And I'm getting goosebumps just like thinking about it and speaking about it, but it was that urgency of we need to tell these stories. And aside from that, everything that has happened in the past 2 years was we need to tell stories, which we always do, of diverse voices. But again, there was that urgency of we have a platform, let's give voice to people who are always underrepresented in media, especially. And that's been our mission from the beginning, but especially for this season, it was just from the get-go, we knew we were just going to hit that hard.
Well, it's lovely. It's lovely that you also, I mean, your show is uplifting and enlightening and educational. But it seems that the silver lining behind the pandemic has been bringing out the importance of diversity and inclusivity. So in your travels throughout New York City, let's just give us a little brief, I guess a little teaser on what you explored and experienced in each borough.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we hit all 5 boroughs, and our season premiere, which is, I'm so proud of all the episodes, but the season premiere, we really wanted to start with a bang, and we call it Black Voices. We start right where we needed to start. And I dance with Dance Theater Harlem with Virginia Johnson, legendary ballerina. Misty Copeland makes an appearance in our show. She's a huge fan. She is a huge fan of the show, which is unbelievable. We're so grateful. We celebrate Juneteenth. I dance with Brooklyn United Marching Band. They were the marching band that also performed at the Met Gala, legendary. And then we dance with Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. And it's just, that's just the beginning. And so we go to Little Sri Lanka and Staten Island. We do hip hop in the Bronx. We meet with the Garifuna community in the Bronx. I'm drumming with Bodoma. I'm dancing with Wabafu. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's Little Caribbean in Brooklyn. The reopening of Broadway. That was just unbelievable. It really was people waiting in line in tears of waiting to get back into those seats. And after every number, we went to see Moulin Rouge, the musical on reopening night. Every number had a standing ovation and people could not stop applauding because we knew we wanted to be there. The performers wanted to perform. They've been waiting to perform. And that was the magic we kept on capturing over and over and over and over again. So it is really special. But all of these, moments in history coming to life in front of us. I have to say too, Rhina, I feel very lucky that I'm able to travel the world for my job. So everyone was, when lockdown happened, everyone was like, oh, you must feel terrible. I'm like, no, there's more to life than just traveling. I am very lucky. But what I found when coming back to New York to film here, we were able to be front and center with fans. It's been years since we filmed back in New York City. So every single day we filmed, it was beautiful. People coming up to me, hugging me, thanking me for taking them around the world, especially when we couldn't travel. And to me, that's the biggest gift, is to know that not just my mom watches this show, right? She is my biggest fan, but it means so much to me when people say hello, even just a hello, to know that our show touches them. But we've had some emotional interactions with so many fans, and I just can't tell you how much it means to me, really. You know this, Rhina, it's a passion. What we do is a passion. Public television, you do it because you love it. And I think I have the best job in the world. And when I get to meet the people that it impacts directly, it fills me. It really just fills me.
Even in the way you're expressing it, I feel it. I feel you. And one of the things I absolutely adore about you is your authenticity in the way you even capture. So I can only imagine what's been captured, because you're speaking to me so emotionally. So I can only anticipate what's to come. So how many episodes are there in this season?
We have 12. We're so lucky. We 12 episodes. Again, all 5 boroughs. One of my favorite episodes, or an episode that we came up with, usually we focus on a neighborhood or a cultural group or an ethnic group, right? And there were all these beautiful stories of dance that were impacting people, that were so empowering. And I said, you know what, let's do a whole Empower NYC episode where we feature dancers or dance that impacts community in a positive way, that's not necessarily tied into a specific genre of like a cultural group or an ethnic group or a specific neighborhood. So we, we tackle ageism. We're dancing with a group of 65 plus. They are the dancers for the Cyclones out in Brooklyn, and they're called the Pacemakers. They're hilarious, and they have more energy than I have. And I'm like, I hope I can be that way when I'm 75 years old, So stuff like that. It's all
the Pacemakers.
They are incredible. They made me a jersey. I had my own number, and everyone's number is the year they're born. That's their number. I had a hat. We were in the Cyclones stadium dancing. It was the ballpark. It was so fun. But those are stories that dance has a huge impact on people. And that's what we really wanted to show as well. We love our diversity in New York City, but we also love that dance can touch everybody.
On that note, I want to say, thank you for bringing the celebration on air, and we celebrate you. I know your birthday was last week, but I'm still going to wish you a happy belated birthday, Mickela Mallozzi. Thank you for choosing to celebrate yourself and your essence publicly.
Thank you. And shout out to the Bronx. Are you kidding me? Like we give a good shout out to the Bronx. It was just so fun exploring the Bronx a little more and dancing across the Bronx. So Rhina, thank you for still doing this and sharing your voice. And I hope we get to dance together soon. I think in the weeks to come, and hopefully the months to come, once weather clears up, we can be dancing together very, very, very soon.
I'm so looking forward to it. I am holding you to that, darling. It's a date.
All right.
Everyone. Woo! Mickela Mallozzi, once again, the 5th season of Bare Feet with Mickela Mallozzi is going to premiere March 9th on NYC Life Channel at 8:30 p.m. If you're interested in more information, you can visit travelbarefeet.com, and on social media, you can follow her at Travel Bare Feet. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we speak to a young actress on the road to stardom. Hint, hint, she's the voice of Alma on Almas Way, currently airing on PBS Kids. Hey everyone, welcome back. Our next guest is a young star rocketing at warp speed into her rise. Hailing from the Bronx, this 9 years young working actor, Summer Rose Castillo, whose ambitions for a career in entertainment landed her the leading role as the voice of Alma on PBS's new animation, Almas Way, created by Sonia Manzano, who most of us remember as Maria from Sesame Street. The fairly new animation is about a 6-year-old Puerto Rican girl from the Bronx who learns how to think for herself, make mistakes, and find solutions along the way. To add to the amazing voiceover work Summer is doing, she's now preparing to screen her first film debut, starring in Brownsville Bred as the role of Elaine in a coming-of-age drama based on a true story in the short written and directed by Elaine Del Valle. Everyone, let's give a nice round of applause in your home to our fabulous actress, Summer Rose Castillo. Hello, Summer.
Hello, Rhina. So nice to see you.
Oh my goodness. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you for making the time from your busy schedule to be with our viewers. Congratulations on all that has occurred thus far. Oh my gosh, you have been super, super busy.
Yes, thank you so much. All of these things have been such a blessing to my family and I. And yes, I'm just really, really thankful.
Yes. And you know what? You're doing a really great job. You really are. And I was just wondering, right? Because by the way, I'm an Almas Way fan. Okay. Oh, yes. I binge watch it. I binge watch it because I just love everything about it. I love the fact that it highlights the Bronx. I love the fact that it's multicultural. I love the fact that your character is always trying to figure things out together on the spot with the viewers, right? And I love the relationship you have to your brother. Well, the character has to her brother and the dog. And I love the name of the dog. It's Chacho, right?
Yes.
So for yourself in having to do this, because I understand you got cast during the pandemic, you had to do a lot of this voiceover work at home. Like, what's that been like for you continuing this process from the beginning to where you are now?
Wow, it's been really fantastic for me. To me, it feels like a whole journey of acting at this whole time. Like the moment when I did the audition for Almas Way, I was a little nervous, but I was excited at the same time. And to get from where I was to here, it's wow, it's really amazing. I have to tell you that. And also, yes, I do have a very busy schedule.
Yeah. I mean, you have a film coming out, right? And you go to school because you're 9 years old.
Yep.
So how's that?
I'm just really surprised that I can balance all of that.
Me too. You're amazing. So how do you balance all of that?
Well, my parents help me as well. Like if I have to do an interview sometimes and they would take me out early. And then once I get home, how I balance my homework and doing the interview or audition. Usually when I have an audition, I would do it after. So that way, you know, I can get my homework out of the way. But for an interview, I would do my homework after. Depends. It depends.
Right. It fluctuates. So talk to me about what it's been like for you doing voiceover work versus now being on screen.
Oh, wow. I have to say that doing a voiceover and then being on a screen is very different because when I was doing Alma's Way, I have a home booth in my home, so I would have to record and I'm just like talking in the mic and looking at my lines. But when it comes to Brownsville Bred, it's just so inspiring because I'm actually going to be seeing my face on screens, which is absolutely amazing. But when I did Brownsville Bred, like I said, I was also nervous because I had to remember my lines, but I was pretty happy for myself because my parents helped me through and they really encouraged me and support me to get here.
You know, and you're doing an absolutely fabulous job. Fabulous. Okay. So I want to know, like, what kind of techniques you use to memorize lines. How do you memorize lines?
Well, let's see. For Brownsville Bred, we had other actors, so we all met each other in person. And so I would ask some of the actors if they could like study with me. And so we would all just study together. It was a lot of fun. And we would also like put our papers down to see if we could actually memorize our lines. And if we just forgot, then we would look back at the paper and then we were ready to go.
I see.
Fabulous. I love your hair, darling.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. I will take that because, you know, when you got curly hair, we have good curl days and bad curl days. So I am feeling that. You're feeling my hair. Thank you. Arms up. Oh my gosh. So I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for everything that's been happening for you thus far. And so, all right. So we were talking about memorizing lines, right? And you were saying like, okay, you guys got to just keep doing it over and over and over and over. And so I also saw that in the film that there's like these emotional moments, like some really like you had to go to a deep place. And I mean, somebody your age, like, where do you go to pull out those emotions on demand?
Well, how I get those emotions is that whenever I have to do a very deep and emotional scene like that, I would actually think in my head that all of this was actually happening. Like my actual dad was getting taken away. And so because of that, I actually feel it. And so I just let it out on the camera. I let all of my emotional feelings out.
Wow. Wow, I'm so looking forward to seeing this film because I'm your fan already just through Almas Way, and that's an animation. So I know we're bouncing back and forth from Brownsville Bred to Almas Way, but I just wanted to know if like Almas Way has helped you learn about your culture as well. Like, has it helped you along the way? I mean, I know it's there to help other people embrace Puerto Rican culture, and I know you're half Puerto Rican, so I was just wondering if it's helped you learn as well.
Yes, it has. Alma's Way has helped me a lot to learn more about the Bronx and what it's really about. But it also helped me to understand that whenever I make problems, all I have to do is just take a moment and listen to my thoughts, because that will really help.
So it's all about taking a pause before taking action.
Yes, because if you just take an action and you already made a mistake, then that can already kind of make things a little worse. So if you just take a moment and try to think about it again, then it'll make things better.
Oh my gosh, just listening to you makes me feel comfortable in knowing that there's a bright future ahead for all of us. Congratulations to all that you've accomplished thus far, Summer, and I know there's more to come, and thank you for bringing it here to our viewers. Everyone, this is Summer Rose Castillo. She is the voice of Alma on Alma's Way. She is, once again, Alma's Way is airing on Sundays at 6 p.m. on PBS Kids, and she's also the star in the film Brownsville Bred, which premieres March 13th at SXSW 2022 Film Festival. That's in Austin, Texas. And if you're interested in tickets, you can go to sxsw.com. And for more on Summer Rose Castillo, you can check her out on Instagram at Summer Rose Castillo. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll be joined by Grammy Award-winning Cuban-American Latin pop culture icon, singer-songwriter, humanitarian, Jon Secada. Welcome back. Our next guest has a career spanning over 3 decades, 3 Grammy Awards, 20 million albums sold, starring roles on Broadway, numerous hits in English and Spanish, co-wrote the #1 hit single Coming Out of the Dark for Gloria Estefan. He's also written hits for Jennifer Lopez, Ricky Martin, and his self-titled album, Jon Secada, which includes Pop Plastic, Just Another Day Without You, was certified triple platinum in the US back in the 90s, establishing him as one of the first bilingual artists to have international crossover success. And he is, he's an international superstar. He's also written a memoir titled A New Day and is currently serving as the voice of the King of Hearts in Disney Junior's Alice's Wonderland Bakery. However, his efforts go beyond the arts as he's devoted himself to various charitable groups all over the world, actively contributing to many causes that help Hispanic Americans, children, putting an end to child abuse, AIDS research, and education. His most recent visit to New York was to film the PSA for Boricua College to encourage those who have chosen to pursue studies later in life. Here now to share more is 3-time Grammy Award-winning singer, songwriter, Latin pop culture icon, humanitarian, Jon Secada.
Hey, thank you, Rhina. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir, for making the time to be with us today. I am fanning, obviously. The teenage girl in me is in awe that I'm interviewing Jon Secada. And the fact that you continue to use your voice and your platform as a means to elevate our cultura is so admirable. We really don't have enough time to discuss your trajectory. So I'm going to let you take the floor in sharing, I guess we'll start with your visit to New York.
Yeah, it's great to be back in the city. New York means a lot to me, personally, professionally. So I have it's always, I have a soft spot for New York City. And so it's wonderful. And it's great to see the city coming alive again after everything that we've been through. It's never a bad time in New York City, but now that things are finally we're getting to that where that hump of what we're all I've had to endure is coming to an end. It's great to see the city again just coming alive the way that it should.
Thank you. I agree. Like there's a different energy. And so that being said, like how do you choose your projects, right? Because it seems you're very conscious about who you partner up with and how you're loaning yourself to serve as a voice.
Well, education has always been something that means a lot to me. I'm a product of education. That's the reason that I have a career is because I went to college. I wanted to excel in music, and that's my successes, the people that I work with, all my colleagues, everything that became the network that I've known, and that the way that I started my career, it started because of my education. And I was inspired first by my high school music teacher, and then and had different mentors, starting with her, and then mentors that I had that were a part of my college career. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in music, and so that was an integral part of who I am as a professional. So, and education as a Hispanic American, as an Afro-Cuban American, for me, to speak about that, to encourage that, to always be at the forefront of what education can represent to anybody, to whether you're young or old, at any stage of the game. For Latinos in this country is so important, so important. It's crucially important to keep encouraging that, to talk about it, and to for anybody that can be try to be a voice, a positive example, to embrace that the idea of what education can represent to your life. And that's the reason that one of the main reasons, really, in terms of giving something back, that it's meant so much to me through the years, always being attached to what it is to what education can represent and what it should represent, and especially in our Latinos communities, because we suffer sometimes from that, unfortunately. Unfortunately, we suffer from not following through, starting from grade school, high school, and then higher learning. So that's something that I will always be a spokesperson for, always encourage, again, at any age, for anybody to go ahead and go for it. Follow your dreams, attach to education.
And Boricua College is a unique college too. Aside from the bilingual studies that you can actually they serve or offer, you can actually go. It doesn't have an age, right, bracket in which you need to be in order to study. And so, what do you have to say to those who have maybe decided later in life, like, well, you know what, I think I'm going to get a degree in whatever studies they choose to pursue?
Well, that's the beauty of education. It's never too late to start, and it's never too late to learn. I'm still learning. I learn every day. And if I don't learn formally because I go to a college, I learn because I want to keep investigating what's going on with music, with the music industry, with technology. So many things that are always a part of a learning process. yeah, it's never too late to follow your dreams attached to education. And and that's something that we forget, obviously, as we get older, that maybe it's too late to kind of open up our brains and our hearts to really want to go back to school. But I really, really believe that. I really believe that if that's what you want, if that's what you're after, your brain and your heart will always be a part of, be open to receive information and to learn and for knowledge to be a part of who you are.
Right. It's all about development and maintaining that mentality of being a student of life. And I mean, even yourself, right? I mean, with all the accolades that you've received and all of the global recognition, I mean, you just decided to go back and write a book, you know, like you just wrote a memoir that is kind of like, oh, so now I'm an author, right? That's a whole nother aspect of your artistry. And that within itself took a certain level of commitment. So I'm just sharing that because it's admirable to just see how you've chosen to work on projects, including the voiceover work that you're doing. You know, it's for a children's channel. So it's like you're living also the charities that you support.
Yeah, I love diversity. I love being as involved as I can. I'm celebrating this year 30 years since my very first CD came out. And I feel so lucky that I've had the opportunity and to have embraced and encompassed so many things in my career, whether it's professionally, but also as a humanitarian, and to pass it on to my children. My daughter actually graduated with a musical theater degree from Michigan. She's living in New York City right now. So, and the fact that I can pass it on, starting with my own family, that's something that, again, for me is blessings over the last 30 years to still have that passion to want to give and to want to be able and have the opportunity to pass it forward.
And so in everything that you've experienced in life, what has been the most fulfilling accomplishment for you? Well,
there's several accomplishments. I think the Grammys is one of the 3 Grammys that I've received is something that means a lot to me professionally, because having the respect from your colleagues, your peers, that's something that's amazing. And then there's key moments, just pivotal moments in my career, the Broadway shows that I've done, the opportunity to have performed with musical legends like Frank Sinatra, with Luciano Pavarotti, and to have traveled the world, to have had an international career. When I really think about the scope of the things that I've been able, thank God, that I've been able to the opportunities that I've been able to take advantage of, I'm just lucky that's been a part of that, part of my life. But I think those situations and those moments I think stick out, those particular awards and those particular collaborations, because that's something that I never in my wildest dreams thought that was going to happen at the beginning of my career.
So before we go, do you credit that more to your artistry or your education, or both?
Always start with education. I am a product of education. When I work on my songs, work with other producers, my confidence, and that's very important, key word, confidence. My confidence comes from that. It comes from the fact that indirectly, directly, who I am and what I do inside my head and my heart, it comes from a place that of higher learning. For me, again, this doesn't have to be like for everybody, but that's why I encourage it. Confidence is such a key, pivotal role for all of us to be able to do whatever we want in life, right? So, and that's the one thing that I attach education to the most. Knowledge, and intelligence is confidence.
Nice. There you have it. Higher learning, everyone. You heard it right now from our Latin pop culture icon, 3-time Grammy Award-winning singer, songwriter, and humanitarian, Jon Secada. Thank you so much for taking the time to bring this to our viewers.
Thank you, Rhina.
Thank you. And you guys, for more information on him, you could also go to his website, jonsecada.com, and be sure to follow him on social media at Jon Secada. All right, stay tuned because Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.
We begin this 5-on-5 with the Bronx Player of the Week. That honor goes to BX Rising basketball star Boogie Fland. Boogie led Stepanak to the New York Diocesan Championship, shutting down #1 Cardinal Hayes and Captain Jack in the title showdown. Talk about some cool nicknames for a couple of high schoolers. Boogie dropped 15 points and grabbed 6 boards. He also added 2 assists and 3 steals to his credit. In the 4th spot, looking for their first CUNYAC tournament title since 2004 on the college basketball hardwood, the Lehman Lightning left it all on the court, suffering a heartbreaking defeat 75-69 in overtime to Baruch last Friday night. Lehman and Baruch split during the regular season, each winning on its own home court, but in the chip, it was Baruch who pulled it out in the extra session. From the high school and college hoops action to the pros we go. The Knicks and Nets share the 3rd spot here on the front end of 5-on-5. The Orange and Blue and Bronx native Kimball Walker have decided that injuries should shut down his season the rest of the way. Walker will rehab. Meantime, the Knicks haven't been able to secure many victories since the All-Star break. We go inside the locker room for more.
The 4th quarter, yeah, the intensity is different, but when you look at, for example, Philly, like, you know, they just ran a simple pick and roll with James and Embiid. I mean, obviously they are 2 great players, so it's a tough cover. But you know, I think our offense down the stretch, you know, it needs to be a little bit more like players. Like we need to think a little bit more about what we want to achieve when we run something. You know, to start the game, 1st quarter, 2nd quarter, you know, you're trying to get into a rhythm. You know, you move the ball. You go from one side to the other because, you know, everybody has to touch it and, you know, everyone has to feel good. 4th quarter is different. You know, that's where, you know, it's time to really execute our stuff and go to our best players. And yeah, man, it's frustrating because we're really, like, we're not far at all. Like, we should be winning these games, man. And it's frustrating, very frustrating.
On the flip side of things, the Nets hold in a huge win over Milwaukee on the road, a season best for Kyrie Irving, who could also return to playing in New York if COVID mandates change very soon. Here's Kyrie.
We got together as a group after All-Star break, and you know, we put some goals on the board. Just a daily reminder of what we're gearing up for, and you know, just the things that we can control, and just focusing on those things. But we had a few good practices where we just got back to the fundamentals and just doing the little things and just communicating and being open with one another, and then just adding in some new guys that was part of it. And it just felt good. It felt like we were all locked in, and you know, we got a chance to see the results tonight just play out, where we competed for, you know, 4 quarters, and we control what we can control. I mean, we control what we could control tonight, and just living with the results.
In the 2 spot, IndyCar kicks off its season in St. Pete over the weekend. Second-year driver Scott McLaughlin won pole and the race. Sticking with the theme of 2 in the 2 spot, we asked reigning Indy 500 winner Elio Castro-Neves and Will Power, who podiumed in St. Pete, for a preview and why fans who don't know much about the sport should.
The new marketing campaign, Defy Everything, targets not just fans in the Midwest, but seems to challenge fans outside of that market, from like where I am, from New York all the way to Texas. And this kind of piggybacks on the question that Jenna asked earlier. And a follow-up to that, if you had to, you know, let's say have 15 to 30 seconds to pitch the series to someone that doesn't know about IndyCar, what would you say, and what can fans expect to see in 2022?
Well, I say the most exciting races that you're going to have, the most competitive. You're never going to know who's going to win. It's the best drivers, the best teams, and it's pure excitement. I guess if people haven't had a chance to go and check it out, not only one race but several races, they're gonna feel like they were missing a big part of their bucket list. And I'm a big fan. The IndyCar it runs through my vein, and I'm excited to be back.
Like Elio said, you never know who's going to win. You never know who's going to be on pole, and you really don't know who's going to win the championship until the last race, and sometimes the last lap. So it's a great product, and it has been growing over the last decade. It's like significantly grown since I started in IndyCar, and the teams and the drivers are the highest standard that I've ever seen them. So it's a great series. It really is. It's a great series, and I hope that we continue to push to get it out to the public.
And in at number 1 on the front end of 5 on 5, the Yankees finally do something that truly was already in place without the formality of it, and that's officially retire Paul O'Neill's number 21. The Warrior will be honored later this summer in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium. We caught up with the former All-Star turned beloved Yankee broadcaster on the honor.
That was the first thing that I noticed when I was traded over from Cincinnati was the history and the pride of Yankees. And, you know, I had the opportunity to meet Mickey Mantle and Yogi Berra and have a relationship with Whitey Ford and talks. And it's just like those are great memories for me. And you never put yourself in a position where you ever think that you're going to achieve something that those great players before you did. And to have something like this, I mean, many times playing and now even doing games in the booth, you look up at that wall at those numbers and they're associated with certain names. And to believe, to have that, to look up there at some point and see a 21 that means so much to me, definitely the highest honor that I can think that happened to me, and I can't thank the Yankees enough.
We begin the back end of this 5 on 5 with some more basketball. The Knicks are in Phoenix Friday and LA to face the Clippers on Sunday. 10 p.m. starts for us tuning in on the East Coast. In at number 2, the Brooklyn Nets are in Boston Sunday to face the rival Celtics. That game tips at 1 p.m. In the 3 spot, the Rangers skate against the New Jersey Devils at home tonight at Madison Square Garden. Puck drop on the ice is 7 p.m. In the 4 spot, Iona College men's basketball will host Senior Day Saturday, tomorrow in New Rochelle. The Gales are currently undefeated at home and have locked up the MAC Conference. They will be the number 1 seed in the upcoming conference tournament in Atlantic City. Congratulations to them. And in the 5th and final spot, we'll stick with college basketball since it is March Madness after all. The Florida men wrap up their regular season tomorrow at home when they welcome George Washington. Tip is 2 p.m. at Rose Hill. That's a look at the upcoming weekend schedule for sports here locally. We hit the C list for an on this date in Bronx sports history. On this day and on this weekend more than a century ago, the Yankees traveled abroad to begin spring training in Bermuda, becoming the first in baseball history to do so. Back then, the club was not known as the Yankees. They were the New York Highlanders. In fact, the team was looking for a change after an atrocious 102-loss season in 1912. The Highlanders' name was proving too long for headlines, and by the time spring training rolled around in 1913, the franchise was still a nameless team. They didn't even have a real home, as they had decided to move out of their original location at Hilltop Park and share the Polo Grounds with the New York Giants, not the football team, the baseball team back then. Of course, the Highlanders would eventually settle on the name Yankees prior to opening day in 1913, capitalizing on the press's common name for them that March. Before that would occur, new manager Frank Chance looked for a spark that could ignite a stronger performance out of a club that had underperformed. Chance had built a winning pedigree in Chicago with the Chicago Cubs in the form of 4 league pennants, Tinkers to Evers to Chance, look it up, and was prepared to do so in the same vein here in New York. He decided Bermuda would do the trick, and I think all Bronxites could relate here. Who wouldn't want a Bermuda vacation right about now? Chance orchestrated a spring training to take place at the Hamilton Cricket Grounds in Bermuda. The field was exactly how the name sounds, a converted cricket field. It had been utilized a year prior by a minor league team in New Jersey called the Skeeters. The eventual Pinstripers talked the Skeeters into returning to Bermuda in 1913 to scrimmage them, using the island as a pleasant climate area with enough isolation for the teams to focus. So if anyone ever asks you, yes, the Yankees once played a team named the Skeeters on an old cricket field. Here's to hoping MLB's latest labor dispute allows us to see baseball or even some form of MLB cricket in 2022. We miss you, the Bronx Bombers. We certainly do. That's your look at sports. I'm Bobby C.
Welcome back to Open. Our last guest lives and breathes music, writing hits for Dolly Parton, Donna Summers, and Michael Jackson. He's performed with the R&B group soul Brooklyn Dreams. He helmed his own label and has now rebranded himself as a singer-songwriter, touring the globe to perform at everything from family gatherings to sold-out stadiums. His latest album, Ode to a Nightingale, is inspired by his time as part of the group Dreams and the doo-wop era that surrounded him during his upbringing. He cautions against complacency in society, weaving solemn guitar instrumentals with lyrics about the vicissitudes of social consciousness. Deep.
Knock it
You
out,
gotta
baby.
tell us more, singer-songwriter Bruce Sudano.
Hi. Good to be with you today, and that was a mouthful.
It was a
I'm
mouthful.
proud of you. That was good.
Thank
That
you,
takes
thank
skills.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
You know,
it.
sometimes I have to do these 10-second like radio blurbs. Hi, this is Bruce Sudano. You're listening to whatever, and I have to do it like 20 times just to get it right. So to do what you just did.
Well, I thank you. Nobody usually fans me, but I'm fanning you because I've been looking forward to having this conversation with you. And the reason it was so important for me to give such detailed information, especially related to the social consciousness, is because you seep it, and you radiate it in everything that you do. I mean, I was in awe watching the, I want to say the extreme differences in your work, but I want to say the mental stimulation that is automatically in there if you're really listening, right? So I don't know, for me, right, listening and experiencing your work, I get that you're like, hey, here's a little food for thought, but by the same token, I'm here to entertain you.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fine line to walk for sure, but it's really just a reflection of different aspects of who I am, and who we all are. We all have a social awareness to different levels, and at the same time, we're all emotional people with love and loss and fear and hope and just wanting to dance and not think about anything. So it's all of it, so I've been writing songs for a long time. I'm a Brooklyn boy and grew up in Brooklyn and had my first band when I was a teenager back in the 60s and started writing songs, had my first hit song with Tommy James and the Shondells in 1969. And then my first band, Alive and Kickin', he produced my band and we had a big hit. And so it's been a long road. You didn't say this, but I was married to Donna Summer for 32 years. We raised 3 daughters. I have, 9 grandchildren, and you talked about this rebranding, of, I mean, it began when my wife passed away. I've had this long history in the music business, working with Donna for many, many years, writing songs, touring, all of that. So when she was gone, I had to figure out, what to do. Because it would have been easy to just stay in a corner, But anyway, so, I've always been a singer-songwriter, and I just, instead of doing it for other people, I just been doing it for myself. So, I mean, it's been, now it's, you know, this started, you know, Donna passed away in 2012. So now it's 2022. So I'm on a 10-year process of reintroducing myself to the world as this, you know, gray beard guy.
Profound gray beard guy. Profound. You
Thank
must
you. Okay.
incorporate the word profound.
Okay.
I was like, oh my gosh, who is this man? And of course, in none of your stuff, it's written that you were her husband, and it all makes sense to me now. It all makes sense to me because I'm a big fan of hers. Oh my God. Yes, but we're here to talk about you. And I think that's why, you know, we kind of like skimmed through that aspect of your life, but you know, feel free to talk about
I get it.
like.
I get it. I get it and appreciate it. Appreciate it all. So, but yeah, so, you know, that's it. You know, going on the road April 1st. I'll be on the road for 6 weeks. I'm basically starting in Florida, running up the East Coast. I think I'm doing something for WFUV on September 10th. So that'll be fun. I'll be in the city a little bit and like that. What else you want to know?
I know before we got on air, you said you were going to start your tour April 1st and it was going to keep going until May 10th. And now you were going to conclude in New York, right? You mentioned something along those lines. And I know you're going to be performing for us in our Open Artist Spotlight, Fatal Love. But I also wanted to talk about In Shadowland, because in Shadowland, when I experienced the video, there was something about it that kind of loaned itself to, I think, possibly where people are in this present moment. I feel that there's a mental health issue that is the second pandemic to the pandemic that is really coming out into the forefront now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you know, I certainly feel it myself, you know, and in Shadowland is I specifically wrote it vaguely, you know. I mean, the title, you know, leads you in that direction, but it's really an illusionary song. And I did the video with this Italian visual artist whose name is Furio Gans, and so, you know, we incorporated these digital effects and created this illusionary experience alongside a very real everyday life experience, and the encounter of the two was kind of the concept of the video. And you know, it's I like to make videos, and what I do with videos is I collaborate with a video artist, somebody who's you know, expert and super creative in what they do, and you know, look for new ways to present things, you know. So the video for Fatal Love, conversely, is, you know, it's done by my UK friend Elliot Mason, who does these amazing what's the word? Anyway,
puppets, but they're not puppets. I know that's not the.
It's a cartoon. It's an animation. It's all of these, but you know, Elliot, the director, just has this really little twisted little mind, and finds a way to interpret things that are really quite amusing. So it's the yin and the yang, you know, there as well. So.
Well, at the end of the day, I think what you're sharing is that you continue to create art that is raising a certain level of social consciousness, and by sharing it or collaborating with artists from different genres, you're able to elevate the messaging. And we are so grateful to you for bringing it here to us on Open.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to see you.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, Bruce Sudano, everyone. And bueno, don't go anywhere, because when we return, Bruce Sudano is going to perform for us after the break. Hey everyone, welcome back. Here now to perform Fatal Love is Bruce Sudano.
never to recover. Oh, fatal love, it was fatal love. Oh, fatal love, it overcome by fatal love. The heart's a tricky thing. You got to handle it with care. Don't go and lose your senses, pretending you can't get hurt out there. Oh, but you gotta leave one door open for someone to get in. Who'll steal your blues and make you feel you're alive again. Oh, fatal love, it was fatal love. Oh, fatal love, it overcome with fatal love. And never let them tell you that your ship has sailed from shore. 'Cause you can't always have another dance on the killing floor. Now you might not see it coming, 'cause it can sneak up from inside. Just tap you on the shoulder. Here's what's been missing all your life. On just some ordinary day, same as any other. When you get blown away, never to recover. Oh, fatal love, there was fatal love. Oh, fatal love, been overcome with fatal love. I've come undone with fatal love. Thank you.
Wow. There you have it. Fatal Love. That was Bruce Sudano, everyone. And his album, Ode to a Nightingale, is available on all streaming platforms. And for more on Bruce Sudano, you can visit brucesudano.com. Be sure to follow him on social at Bruce Sudano. And that is our show. An incredible show, I might add. I hope you enjoyed that. Mi gente, thanks to all our guests for coming through, and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recablecast tonight and 24 hours a day at bronxnet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor, and happy Women's History Month.